What's going on, YouTube? Today I bring you my offensive tackle rankings for the 2021 NFL season. We're going to be looking at the top 10 guys as well as our honorable mentions as we've been doing. We just did tight ends, so now we're going to be doing our tackle rankings and then inside offensive linemen next. And we also just uploaded Aaron Rodgers trade scenarios on the channel, so if you want to go check that out, go ahead. But without further ado, let's get into the honorable mentions. Starting off, we have Mekhi Becton. After a fantastic rookie year, now obviously it wasn't the best, but you can definitely see the absolute talent and upside on this man. He is not just his size and he is not just his athleticism. He is a truly talented tackle, and I definitely think he deserves a spot in the honorable mentions here. Can very well be in this top 10 next year. Laramie Tunsil, who's always kind of been on that brink, if not in the top 10, but I'm not going to put him here just because he doesn't do quite as good a job as I think some people say he does. I definitely don't think he was worth the Texans trading all that for. That's completely destroyed their franchise. Obviously they still had the third pick, so he wasn't doing that good. He's still a fine tackle. He's still, one of the top 15 in the league. I have him here at 12, but I don't think he deserves a spot on this list. And then Tyrone Smith, who has been a very solid, good tackle for years with the Cowboys, but he's starting to deal with some injury problems. He's starting to get up there in age, and his play is definitely declining. He could have a bounce-back year if he plays well enough this year. And he's still obviously here in the honorable mentions. He's still a top-tier tackle, but I can't quite put him in the top 10. Moving on to the top 10. At number 10, we're going to have Jack Conklin, right tackle for the Browns. Played 15 games in 2020, 84.3 PFF grade, 999 snaps, only 2 penalties and 2 sacks. This guy was pretty incredible. Now, obviously, you're playing on a very, very talented line, but if every single player is playing like that, then you're going to have such a talented line and help Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as well as Baker Mayfield out like that. Jack Conklin was a very, very solid tackle last year. Great pickup on the Browns front after coming over from Tennessee. Yeah, very, very good player, and Browns should be very happy that they got this guy on their team. Number 9, we have Mitchell Schwartz. I'm predicting him to land with the Jaguars right now. Just kind of makes sense. They don't really have a right tackle, and they have the cap. But Mitchell Schwartz, the thing with Mitchell Schwartz is that he is easily the best right tackle in the league when he's healthy. He only played 6 games in 2020, had a 74.7 PFF grade, only 350 snaps, 1 penalty and 2 sacks in those 6 games. Definitely does not look good on paper. Okay, he definitely did not have a good year last year, and his year was super short. But when he is healthy, Mitchell Schwartz is the best right tackle in football by a mile, and one of the best. He's somewhere in the top 3 for tackles overall. He is an extremely talented tackle. He's just one of those guys that makes, it doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you're TJ Watt. I don't care if you're Khalil Mack. I don't care if you're Von Miller. He makes those guys disappear, and he does it with talent. And when he's healthy, like I said, when he's healthy, he's probably number 2 or number 3 on this list, but because of the injury concerns and stuff, he's going to drop all the way to 9. And obviously, last year was not a good year for him. But again, if he's healthy, can be a lot higher on this list. Number 8, we have Garrett Bowles, who enjoyed a fantastic season last year. 15 games, 90.6 PFF grade, 1,015 snaps, 7 penalties, which at first glance is a fair amount, but when you look at what he's put up in the past, that is really good for him, and 0 sacks. In fact, I can't confirm this, but I'm pretty sure I did read somewhere that all season long, he only allowed 3 pressures or something like that. That is crazy talented. And that's kind of the thing with Garrett Bowles, is the talent was always there. It was really that mental aspect of the game that he was lacking. And I think bringing over Mike Munchak definitely helped that out a lot. At the time, Elway looked smart not picking up his 5th-year option, but after the year he had, the Broncos gave him a big extension, and now that he seems to have that mental side of the game down, I don't see any reason why he's going to slow down. This time next year, he can be in the top 5, maybe even higher. Garrett Bowles is a fantastic tackle. I can't put him too high yet because it is just 1 year, but if he replicates that, he'll be very much higher on this list, and he's already at number 8. At number 7, we're going to have Tristan Wirfs. Now, his rookie season, dude, was pretty phenomenal. And obviously, again, he's playing on a pretty good Bucs offensive line, but when everyone's playing well. Started all 16 games, had an 82 PFF grade, 1,000 snaps, almost 1,100, 3 penalties, and only 1 sack in your rookie year. That's pretty freaking good. To be in the top 7 of tackles in your rookie year, that's just incredible. Tristan Wirfs is a great talent and looks to be an amazing tackle for the Buccaneers for years to come. I think 7 is definitely not too high for him. Even though he's just a second-year player, this dude was on another level. If awards went to tackles, offensive linemen in general, this guy would have won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. And that's considering Justin Herbert and Justin Jefferson had those types of years that they did. Tristan Wirfs played on another level for a rookie last year. Believe that. Number 6, Ryan Ramczyk, who, when Mitchell Schwartz isn't healthy, I do believe is the best right tackle in football. Started off 16 games last year, 81.5 PFF grade, 1,038 snaps, 5 penalties, and 2 sacks. Pretty incredible for, honestly, the Saints offensive line is good, but it's definitely very tackle heavy. They have 2 amazing tackles, and we'll get to Armstead here in a second. Spoiled number 5 there, I guess, but you knew he would be on the list. You have Ramczyk and Armstead, and then obviously the rest of the line is pretty meh. Cesar Ruiz was fine. Ryan Ramczyk, he holds down that right side of the line, and he does it incredibly well. Super, super talented tackle, stays healthy, stays consistent. Number 6, in my opinion, I think is right for him, and he is a very good tackle. Number 5, his buddy on the left side, Teron Armstead. 14 games, so he didn't play all 16 games, but he did have a better PFF grade, and only 4 penalties and 3 sacks. The left tackle position is always going to be harder than the right tackle position. That's not saying that the right tackle isn't hard, but left tackle is definitely harder. You're protecting the blind side. You got to be powerful, quick, and hold up that entire left side of the line oftentimes. And that's exactly what Teron Armstead does, and he does it well. It's really hard to interchange Armstead and Ramczyk, but I do think at the end of the day, Armstead is a better tackle, more experience and stuff, and just, again, an incredible talent, and 5 makes a lot of sense here for him. At number 4, we have Ronnie Stanley, who did not enjoy the best season last year. Obviously, did not play 10 games, was hurt. 79.9 PFF grade, though, when he played, 300 snaps, 5 penalties, and, still not giving up a single sack, and even in 6 games is still really good, obviously. Obviously, in 2019, he had an amazing year. Last year on these rankings, he could have been number 1. I didn't do these rankings last year, but he could have been number 1 last year. So, he is obviously an incredible tackle. We'll see how he does moving forward after that injury, but I don't expect him to decline in play. I think 4 is really a good spot for him, even after having a pretty bad season just because of injuries and stuff. But Ronnie Stanley is a very, very fantastic, talented tackle and a great player here for Baltimore. Number 3, and this is where it got tough, and this is definitely where people are going to start maybe questioning a bit, but I have Duane Brown. I know there's going to be a few people that go, what? Duane Brown? Doesn't he suck? Isn't he getting older? Yeah, this guy's getting better with age. He played all 16 games last season, so he stays healthy, he stays consistent. Had an 87.3 PFF grade, which is one of the best in the league, regardless of position. 1,000 snaps and only 2 penalties and 2 sacks. Let me give you a little number here. Last year, Russell Wilson was sacked 47 times. And Duane Brown only let 2 of them happen. Duane Brown, I'm sorry, whether you think the same or not, is a top-level tackle in this league, and he has been for a while. I do not know why this guy is so underrated, why he is so hated. He's getting better with age. He's stayed healthy. He's stayed consistent. He's a consistent, amazing tackle. And again, he's at that left tackle position on one of the worst offensive lines in football. Duane Brown is a top 3 tackle, period. Sorry, we're done. Number 2, Trent Williams. I'll tell you, it was very difficult to pick number 2, number 1, but at the end of the day, it did come a little bit easier than I might thought at first. But Trent Williams played 14 games, 91.9 PFF grade. Again, one of the best scores regardless of position. Almost 1,000 snaps. Did let up 10 penalties and only 4 sacks. But that's considering that you're playing for a very, very poor offensive line there in San Francisco, as well as a very immobile court. Well, he's not immobile, but he holds onto the ball for way too long and gets sacked way too easily. For Matter of that, I think Trent Williams is easily one of the top 3 tackles in the league. On paper, didn't have the best year, but he is a dominant blocker, and he's still one of the best run blockers in football, and that's something that you can't really put on stats. But he's a dominant player. Easily coming here at number 2, just because again, at first it was really hard to pick 1 and 2, but then when I looked at it, I was like, David Bakhtiari's taken this title home pretty easily. Played 2 less games, but in those 12 games, 92 PFF grade, 750 snaps, and only 4 penalties and 1 sack. He played 2 less games than Trent Williams, but he still let up 3 less sacks and 6 less penalties. David Bakhtiari, as I was I don't know if kindly is the word, but kindly got pointed out that, yes, he got dominated against Brian Burns. Bad games happen. David Bakhtiari is still the best tackle in football. Like, I at this point, I really don't think it's close. The type of production this guy does year in and year out, he's consistent. Sometimes health is an issue, but when he is healthy, he's easily the best player, best tackle for the Packers, for the league. Regardless of left or right tackle, he is just on another level. And he deserved the big contract extension he got. So he'll be looking to be a record for that Packers offensive line for years to come. But yeah, so David Bakhtiari coming in here at number 1. But that is going to be my tackle rankings for the 2021 NFL season. If you guys did like the video, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Next, we're going to be doing our Deshaun Watson trade scenarios because, will he likely be traded this offseason? No, but stuff can happen, and so if he is traded, we'll give some scenarios there. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see all you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.